Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining today's flexibility yoga flow. Today, we are going to be opening the legs, the front of the legs, the backs of the legs, the inner seams, the outer seams. It's all happening in this class. So when you're ready, find yourself a comfortable seated position. You might like to join me in Sukhasana, easy pose, crossing the legs, lengthening the spinal column, aligning the shoulders over the hips. You might like to thank yourself for showing up here today, recognizing the courage that dwells within you and within all of us. Let's get started today in a seated stretch. Keeping the left leg crossed, we'll extend our right leg out on a diagonal. Inhale, raise the arms skywards. Exhale, palms to heart center. And let's bend over to the right, coming into a lateral spinal flexion. Inhale, raise to center. Exhale, bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, stay down and hold. Seeing if it's possible to bend a little further with every exhalation. Feeling a beautiful stretch along the left side of the waist and opening for the side ribs. Inhale, raise the torso. Place your palms on either side of the right foot, aligning your sternum with your thigh and melting atop of your right leg. Rounding the spine, and if you'd like to intensify the stretch, you can keep your foot flexed, engaging the quadriceps. Otherwise, relaxing your leg and breathe. Returning the palms under the shoulders and with the support of your arms, gently guiding the torso upright. Noticing if you're already beginning to feel a difference just after we've performed this first stretch. Let's cross the right leg in and extend the left leg out. Inhale, raise the arms skywards, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. And this time let's bend over to the left, lowering the left forearm down on the inner seam of that left leg. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Once more. Giving yourself the time and the space to ease into this posture. Being compassionate with where you are. Practicing loving kindness, recognizing how tremendous the body is, how much it does for us. It's nice to be able to now do something for the body. Let's turn to frame our left leg and gently melt atop of that leg. Mindfully raise the torso, beautiful work. Keeping the left leg extended, we are going to stretch our right leg out again as we come into a wide-legged straddle position. Joining the palms together at heart center, connecting with the breath. And let's find a lateral spinal flexion as we bend to the right. Scooping the chest forwards and around and coming over to the left a few more times. For this variation, you might like to place your forearm on the outer edge of your thigh. Find what works for you. Maybe coming into a bit of a back bend, a heart opener. Well done. From here, let's pivot the torso to frame the right leg, palm on either side of that leg, either staying upright or again hinging forwards, bending from the hips. Know that you can always point, flex, or relax your feet, doing whatever helps you find engagement and whatever helps you feel supported. Give yourself permission to play around with these postures. Notice how the body responds. Notice how the mind responds. Mindfully elevating the torso, and this time pivoting to frame the left leg, aligning your sternum with the thigh, and melting forwards. Beautiful work. Gently raising the torso, relaxing the shoulders. In your own time, bending the knees, transitioning on all fours as we come into child's pose. Big toes together, widening the knees as much as you like, and sinking the hips towards the heels, rounding the spine, finding a nice release. Inhale, press into the palms, rise into tabletop. Tent up onto the fingertips, engage the core, and let's guide the right foot down between the palms, coming into a low crescent moon, Anjaneyasana. Squaring off the hips, and on your exhalation, straighten the right leg as you send your hips back, coming into half monkey, Ardha Hanumanasana. Let's flow through this. Inhale, bend, open up the heart space. Exhale, half monkey, flexing the right foot, raising the toes skywards. Inhale, bend, stretching out the hips. Exhale, straighten, stretching the hamstrings and the calf muscles. Keep going. This is such a great combination of movements to help us get into some of the tighter regions of the body. On your next inhalation, coming into crescent moon and maybe raising the arms skywards. If you'd prefer, you can always keep your fingertips grounded. And if you'd like, we'll come into a spinal twist, pivoting the torso to the right, extending the arms out wide at shoulder height, spreading the fingertips wide, and maybe guiding your right palm on the back of your left leg, raising the left arm skywards, opening the heart, feeling an intense stretch for the hips here. One more breath. Raise the right arm, palms on the earth, exhale, half monkey. Let's rest here for a few breaths. Know that you could always rest with your back parallel to the earth or melt atop of your leg, it's up to you. Keeping the hips squared. Well done, friends. Let's return to a tabletop position. Let's prepare to take this series on the other side, tenting up onto the fingertips, left foot between the palms, low crescent moon, pointing the back toes. Exhale, elongate the front leg, send the hips back, half monkey, half split, Ardha Hanuman. Inhale, bend, open up the heart. Exhale, melt atop of that front leg. A few more times. On this next inhalation, bending the front knee, raising the arms skywards, crescent moon. Lowering your shoulders. Checking that the core is active here, scissoring the inner thighs and maybe coming into a twist. Turning to the left, guiding the left palm on the back of the right leg, right arm is skywards. Re-raise the left arm, gaze forwards. Plant the palms down, send the hips back, half monkey, breathe. Nice one. Rebending that knee, pressing into the palms, tabletop. And let's take a moment in child's pose. Let it all go. Give yourself permission to slow it down and soften. Okay friends, you have the option to stay here in child's pose, repeat one of the previous variations, or we're going to come into a full monkey pose, full split. So guiding the right foot between the palms, setting up for half split, and you can stay here, otherwise tucking your back toes under and beginning to glide your feet out in opposite directions, lowering your pelvis down towards the earth. Using your palms, your fingertips for support, and doing your best to keep the hips squared here. Keeping the back toes tucked is going to help you with that pelvic alignment. You can keep the right foot, the front foot flexed, or you can point it. Find what works for you. You might like to raise your arms skywards to help you channel energy upwards, engaging the pelvic floor. And if you'd like a deeper hamstring stretch, melting atop of your front leg. Noticing if your back hip begins to open and seeing if you can correct that alignment. Letting go. Beautiful work. This is such a deep stretch, mindfully releasing from the posture, coming up into tabletop. It might feel nice to circle the hips, the glutes in one direction, really allowing intuition to guide you here, allowing the body to get creative. And let's prepare for monkey pose, Hanumanasana, with the left leg in front. Now it's absolutely understandable that you have one leg that appears to be a lot more mobile than the other, and that's okay. Knowing that you can use props or any supportive means to help you safely enter this posture on both sides. Again, we want to keep our back foot tucked to really help us square off the hips. This is going to help us intensify the stretch for the hip flexors. But if that's not possible, you can keep that foot pointed. Find your variation. Another fun variation is to join your palms together behind the back in Namaskar Mudra. See what works for you and breathe. And when you're ready, releasing from the posture. Well done. Such a deep stretch. Coming into these hip circles, or taking any movement or no movement at all. Listen to what your body is telling you. And let's meet in child's pose. Mindfully elevating the torso, one vertebra at a time. Let's lower the sits bones down onto the earth. Extend the legs out in front. And we've got one last active stretch for today, compass pose or sundial pose, Parivrtta Janu. So keeping the left leg straight, cradling the right knee and the right ankle with your arms, opening and closing the hip. We're going to guide our right knee atop of our right shoulder, using the support of your left hand to keep your right foot where it is. We're going to lower our right palm onto the earth, either lowering onto the palm or tenting up onto the fingertips, and using the left arm to help guide the right leg skywards, pointing the toes. The right shoulder is pressing into the inner seam of that right thigh, gazing to the left, broadening the heart space. And gently release. Beautiful work. Let's try this posture on the other side. You can stay where you are. I'm turning around for the purpose of this video. This time we are keeping the right leg straight. We are going to cradle the left leg with both arms, lubricating the hip, mobilizing the ball and socket joint. And when you feel sufficiently warm, we're going to place our left knee atop of our left shoulder. This can be quite challenging, keeping the right palm on the left heel, left palm on the earth, and using that right arm to help you raise that leg skywards, pointing the toes. Pressing the left shoulder into the right thigh as you gaze to the right. Beautiful. Gently release. That's such a wonderful hamstring, hip, and all-around body opener. Let's come into a comfortable seated position. You might like to circle out the head and the neck. Notice if any tension is built up around this region, allowing yourself to melt it all away. Inhale. Raise the arms skywards, join the palms together. Exhale, lower the palms to heart center. Thanking yourself so much for showing up today. Recognizing that these are some challenging postures that we've just worked through. So whether you've already got these postures, you're still working on them, it might take you a week, a month, a year. It doesn't matter, we're all on our unique journeys. We're all here showing up. We're chasing the same feeling. So perhaps the ultimate takeaway from this class is to learn to love your life, to learn to love yourself and every unfolding aspect. Sending you unconditional love. May you all be well. Thank you for today. Namaste.